going that way.
Is there a lot of repairs that can be done?
Go.
Roofs.
All right, call roll, please.
Gearing.
Yes.
Jacobson.
Here.
Sorry. Schoenwald. Jaden.
Yes.
Waltner.
Present.
Okay, we're going to need to, first thing is we're going to need to amend the agenda, and that is I need to put on approval of Shane Fish, the audit and the timing and so forth. I guess I need, can I have a motion to amend the agenda?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Call roll.
Jacobson.
Yes.
Sorry. Schoenwald.
Yes.
Jaden.
Yes.
Waltner.
Yes.
Gearing.
Minutes of last regular meeting.
Moved accept.
Second.
All those in favor, aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Vouchers.
Tobias did this batch, so he came in yesterday and did these.
I'm still signing.
Someone.
I'm not in a hurry.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Call roll.
Schoenwald.
Yes.
Jaden.
Yes.
Waltner.
Yes.
Gearing.
Yes.
Jacobson.
Yes.
Public input, and I believe the Henry Street property is going to enter into that and so forth. Is Mr. Castro?
Yes, sir.
You want to stand up?
Yes, sir.
And I believe you have interest in the Henry Street property. Do you have questions for?
Well, not really. I just wanna, well, you guys told me to come over here for this meeting. I do like and wanted to buy that property, and I know the first thing I gotta do is fix the roof. That's the first thing I'm gonna do, and then everything else, if, you know, if I can, if you guys okay with it.
What's going to happen, I think fairest for you, and I think there's some other interested parties in that,
Okay,
is we have a building inspector who basically was there and said, this is what's wrong with it.
okay,
So, and we have a demolition order on it, the city does.
okay,
And I will contact him, and I'm going to ask him to print out, if you will, or give anybody that's interested in that house,
okay,
what it's going to take to get it off, go from uninhabitable to habitable,
okay,
to get it off the demolition. And
Right.
then, if you will give somebody your address here, we will send, and this will be a matter of days, we will send that to you and interested parties, because that's fair to you. You don't know what our expectations are, and I don't know what they are. But we're
Right.
gonna let the building inspector print that out, and we will get that to you.
okay,
And then you will know what our expectations are before we are willing to remove because you might think just I know not, but a coat of paint and some shingles on there might get it off, and our building inspector says, no, it takes more than that to make it habitable. So we'll let the building inspector write a list of what it's gonna take. We'll
Okay.
get that to you, and then you can look at it and then go the next step.
that sounds great.
Is that okay? Is that
Yeah.
fair to you?
Yes, sir, that sounds good to me.
Okay? I'm sorry to make you come all the way from Sioux Falls for that little bit of information, but.
That's all good. Thank you very much.
Okay? Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yes.
Thank you.
Carol, should we just, Mr. Castro, should we get your address?
Thank you. If you have an email or, okay, Board of Adjustment,
Move to go into Board of Adjustment.
Okay, it's for a variance for Lamont and Sheila Solar. They are requesting a setback of 22 foot instead of, let's see. Oh, instead of the 25. So they're asking for a 3 foot
I do have-
front.
Doug, do you have a copy?
And
Of
they're requesting a
Variance?
Do you know?
8
I
foot
don't have it.
I copied it.
side setback. It's, or a 2 foot side
I'll
setback.
jump
So
on.
they're asking for
Okay.
8.
Do I have to
That
close out?
is in line with the
Do I have to
current
close out?
garage that's there. So they're not asking for anything that's
They're
not
not,
already
Oh.
there.
they're not exceeding any dimension.
I'll pull it up.
So, I mean, it is, you know, that house was built in the garage before ordinances, and so it was out of ordinance when it was, so they gotta go through the variance process to get it approved to do that.
what's the house at?
Where's it at?
What is the setback on the house?
Right now, it's 24 foot, and want to go to 22.
Give me a minute, I can get it up there.
So the garage would stick out from the house yet?
No, that's, they're gonna add, they're gonna.
They're gonna
build a
add to
new
the garage.
And they're gonna put some living space in it, and then, yeah, it's gonna be another 2
It's
foot.
basically an extension of the house, is
Yep.
basically what you're talking about.
Right.
Okay. That's what they,
And the board, or the planning and zoning, with all the properties around it, I can give you a list if you guys wanna run through it. It's not gonna affect that neighborhood at all, it's South Main.
I live, yeah. Mr. Spangler was notified?
Yes, everybody was,
Okay. So,
and nobody showed up.
this one is,
My recommendation is to approve it.
okay. That was a motion?
Yes.
Is there a second?
Second.
Is there
By
any
the time we get
questions?
it up, it's gonna be,
Is there any questions?
no,
Well, I'm sorry, I don't mean
No.
to, tell you,
no, I'm fine.
Terry, do you know where we're talking about? Not really? Chad Solik's house?
Okay.
Next house over, south? I guess
523, so.
I live there, so I'm familiar, I guess, so,
Yeah.
but I don't mean to. Charlie, you know where we're talking about?
I'm fine with it.
I mean, okay.
Come on, rotate.
Any questions? Other questions? We got a first,
Basically.
got a motion and a second.
That's north.
Call roll.
This is the
no,
part
no,
that had
no.
gone to.
You wanna read these magic questions that you gotta?
Oh, jeez. I'm gonna-
He's just moving it forward.
This is my copy from the zoning, so I'd like it back.
He's filling in the space.
Okay. The mayor loves this. Denial of the variance would result in hardship to the property owner due to physical characteristics of the site.
Yes,
The conditions upon an application for a variance is based are unique to the property for which the variance is sought.
yes,
The petition for a variance is not based exclusively upon a desire to increase the value or income potential of the property.
yes,
The granting of the variance will not be detrimental to the public welfare in which the property is located.
yes,
The proposed variance will not jeopardize the intent and general and specific purposes of the variance ordinance,
yes,
and the concurring vote of 2/3 of the total board membership shall be necessary to approve the request.
Now,
I'm gonna find that ordinance, and get that changed. Call roll now, I'm sorry.
All right, Gearing,
Yes.
Jacobson,
yes.
Schoenwald,
Yes.
Jaden,
Yes.
Waltner.
yes.
Okay.
So,
Main Street reconstruction bid award.
You guys ready to
copy of the motion?
Huh?
Do you have a copy of the?
Yeah.
You want a copy?
Yeah, you,
I read it
oh,
already.
I think I,
I read it,
I
yeah.
think your secretary emailed out. Somebody did. Somebody did,
I think it
anyway.
was the engineer.
It was, yeah.
All right, I make a motion to award the Freeman Main Street and Railway Street reconstruction project and the bid alternate for Third Street and Fourth Street to Reed Construction Incorporated for the total low bid of $4,746,714.19. Contingent on approval and concurrence with the South Dakota Department of Transportation and contingent on bond resolution 2022-01 becoming effective.
your second,
Second.
call roll.
Could I speak to that?
Hold on a second, I think we're a little bit late. Let me finish your motion. I think there was a subsequent motion to that.
Yeah, afterwards.
So the last recommendation was,
After it's approved, when we go to the engineer and approve his.
No, there's been, and I think maybe this is appropriate time for some discussion on this.
This, we've got a motion and a second, now's discussion.
Yeah, okay. I guess, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that, you know, obviously there's a need to award the project within 30 days, and that 30 days is next Friday, basically. And the city council took action on a bond, and that resolution becomes effective, I believe, the end of April, end of the month.
27th.
What day is that?
April 27th.
April 27th. So that would be effective after basically the award occurs. So this draft motion was kind of a suggestion as far as, you know, a way to award the project, but yet make a contingent on that bond resolution becoming effective. So if for some reason someone would bring a petition and challenge the bond resolution, the award is nullified at that time, and basically the project would not go forward. So even if the bond then got put to a vote, the bond vote passed, the project is still nullified, the bid's still nullified because that resolution didn't become effective. So I think there's, you know, that's something I guess the city council may want to consider if they want to put the project at risk of someone bringing that forward and challenging the bond resolution, because even if it would be challenged and it would still pass, the recommendation of award would be nullified based upon the language of this motion. So I don't know if the city attorney has anything further to add to that, but I just want to make sure that that is clear, that you know, there is some risk here as far as the project not occurring if.
so I thought there was a second proposal to approve the bid as to the primary part of the project, and then, and have that subject to DOT approval, but then have the side street part of the project be contingent on both the DOT approval and the funding approval, or the
Yes.
funding passage.
So that was also then sent out as a, you know, if the council didn't want to risk not moving forward with the project, because obviously we're in a very volatile bidding climate, so we did receive bids. The bids were inflated, but yet we do have a contractor on board ready to proceed with construction. And if the project isn't awarded, waiting is, you know, we'll likely see more escalation on that based upon, you know, just the infrastructure dollars that are available, supply chain issues that are probably going to continue for the next few years. Today I was at an engineering conference. They said they don't see the supply chain issues being resolved till at least 2025. So I had sent out an alternate another email today saying if the council did not want to risk the project by making it contingent on the resolution becoming effective, they could move forward with just awarding the base bid, not contingent on the bond resolution, and then there could be then a second motion that accepting the bid alternate based upon the bond resolution becoming effective. So
I didn't get that email.
I didn't either.
But I didn't,
$600,000.
That's not true, Paul. What
But-
you're saying is not true, because we would still not be able to make the bid time if we would go that route.
Oh, what
The
he's
reason
saying
being is there would still have to be a resolution because the city would need to borrow money then.
Right,
It would
what he's
be-
saying is, do we wanna risk scrapping the project totally, because if the bonds are petitioned, the election, or the election of it would be sometime in September. But $600,000, I mean, so we go from
I think it was 7, yeah.
4.7 to $4 million. We could write a check, but then you would be doing nothing this summer on streets, you'd be doing nothing on sewer or water. So I guess my perception is to roll the dice.
What choice do you have? I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
you really don't have much control.
we have to have,
If
we
you
have
don't
to
make a
have.
motion, go forward with it, it can still get petitioned, we're still sitting in the same boat.
No.
This cannot get the,
It
no,
can't get.
no, this cannot.
Only if you make it contingent upon something else. But you can just plain award it and,
So that's what you're saying, we should just award it?
Ask Mr. Fink, he researched it and stated.
Well, there's two different issues. The awarding of the bid cannot be referred. Okay, if you award the bid, that's it, because that's an administrative action. The bond issue can be referred, and the bond issue, you pass that last.
It gets publicized tomorrow, there's 20 days since 27th.
So in my view, the awarding of the bid is not subject to a referendum, because you already had a resolution some time ago to do the project.
That's when it would have,
That's
Terry,
when-
that's when it would have had been referred, is when we.
Accepting the bid is just
Is-
putting into practice what you've already agreed to do.
Yeah.
So I think he said it's an administrative act, not a legislative act, therefore it's not referable. On the same issue, I talked to Carol, and I'm working with DOT on this, and I confirmed with DOT where they're at. They're comfortable with the contingency on their approval concurrence, their concurrence on the bid. They did not make any comment, and they won't make any comment to the other contingency of waiting till bond approval. I spoke also to legislative audit, since we do have to follow state bid law on this very closely. I shared my conversation with Mike on this. There was some hesitation on them, should have this contingency been included in the original advertisement, that if we run short, we're going to do this. There's an argument to and fro on that, whether it's true. The bottom line is, with all entities involved, and also saying, if you were to delay this, we have a contractor who's gonna start incurring expenses. And if something goes wrong, that will make things very interesting if that bond resolution does not go through, or is, not even not go through, just is referred. So I guess I'll say it, my recommendation and my professional opinion, years of experience is, if you have the cash available now, award the bid, as is everything, so it's clean and easy, and then the bond resolution passes, and we'll never spend that money this quick. But to keep it clean and not split, do things, let your contractor go ahead and get the materials ordered, because those delays could take you into, just materials could take you into summer, or later, or fall. With the research I've done with legislative audit, discussing with Mike, talking to DOT, that would be, in my mind, the cleanest option you have.
You're comfortable with the motion as is?
No.
No.
They don't want that.
the contingency,
in
the
there.
second one.
Just take both contingencies off?
Take the concurrent, leave the concurrence of DOT's approval,
That has to
which
stay.
is, that's just an action. And then you just basically award the bid as is. You have the money to pay for it, as I understand, I work with you, basically, and you can,
We have the money paid for, but paychecks might not go through. That's how close it is.
Here's the problem. I've talked to my engineer, I haven't talked to you personally, I've read your emails from District 3, I've talked to my attorney, and so forth, and seemingly nobody has a crystal ball. of how this is gonna play out. And I understand that. And it's all contingent on one thing, and basically, I feel if that happens, it isn't really gonna matter, you know, I just don't see, we can't protect ourselves any more than we are with this. I really don't, I know, you know, if you wanna drop that, that's fine, we've got a motion and a second. Unless you wanna amend the motion, I think we have to vote on the motion, the second that's there. If it fails, we can change it.
We have to go on the first one and change it.
Well, you're just gonna vote for amendment to it, doesn't matter.
No, whichever. My question, I guess my question is, if we award this without the contingency of that, and the bond gets petitioned, and we can't do the bond, right? Now we're on, if it gets petitioned, it goes to voting, what you said, September?
Right.
Are we on, what are we on the hook for with the contractor? Because we awarded this bid to them, and the city can't afford to write a check out
We're on the.
for that whole thing. I don't,
$4,746,714.19.
yeah, well, you better, you
That's
just
what
won't
we're on
forget
the
the
hook for.
sewer line, you just won't forget westward addition, you
Just
just,
what I said.
yeah, so what are we on the hook for if we award this and we can't go forward because of the bond being petitioned? And we have to go to a vote in September, and even if it gets voted down then.
If you award it, you're on the hook for the entire bid. If you don't award it or are contingent on, then we'd have to coordinate with Paul and the contractor, because you certainly don't want them incurring expenses, because that contingency, basically, as he explained to you, reads, if it goes to a vote or someone refers it, the whole thing blows up.
Even if it passes later.
No, we don't
Well,
even talk about
there's no time. But,
But isn't that why you were suggesting then bid, or approve the project up to a certain amount that is more affordable, and then make the other part of the project subject to this contingency?
Yeah,
So
that's,
you'd be on the hook for a smaller amount.
that was the alternate solution, basically, to say, yeah, so, you know, if the city is in a position to afford the base bid at 4,000,000, you know, roughly 100,000, and not award the alternate at this time, you could award the base bid outright, basically, and say, we'll award the base bid, just concurrent with DOT approval. And then you could take a second motion and say, we'll accept the bid alternate contingent on the bond resolution becoming effective. So that ensures Main Street gets reconstructed. It doesn't ensure whether 3rd Street and 4th Street get done, but it does ensure that Main Street gets reconstructed at 4.1 million versus roughly 4.1 million versus 4.75 million. So, you know, that's about a $700,000 buffer that you would have there if you just awarded the base bid and took a separate action on the bid alternate.
any more discussion?
So if the bond gets petitioned, can we go directly to a bank for a loan, or is the project being petitioned?
That would need a resolution.
The
that
project
could-
is not being petitioned.
Okay,
If
it's
we
just
award
the
the bid
bond.
tonight, the project goes through. We write a check somehow, some way,
You could still.
whether it's from the courier's checkbook or from.
Good luck with that.
If we award the bid tonight, we are doing the project,
Okay.
period.
So if the
We have
bond,
to find a way to pay for it.
Sure,
So
and if
if
the
they
bond-
petition, if the citizens petition the bonds, which I don't think they will, I have not heard a negative thing about it, to be honest with you. If they petition the bonds, then we have to set up a vote, and I think that I read in the state law, it's gotta be before October on something like, so it'll be in September. Well, they'll be constructing all summer long, and we'll be paying bills all summer long. September we'll have the vote, and then we'll know whether, I mean, bottom line, really, seriously, if we do it that way, can we take a chance of doing a $600 or $300,000 worth of sewer?
It's tough to do.
I mean, we'll be writing checks, right? We don't have the money to do it if we don't get the bonds.
That's right.
That's why I'm asking if we can go get financing another way,
It
like
could-
to, even to,
But it would
like,
st-
both
it
the
could-
project.
But it could still go to a vote. You can't do that without a vote.
Well, you
So
can do it
that-
without a vote, it just, you can't do that without a chance of being petitioned.
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
And that's what this is
It's like
about.
they'll petition
That's
the
what this is
second
about.
The petition is basically petitioning how we're getting the money to pay for it.
This is the fairest way. I don't know if the citizens are listening or not. It's coming out of sales tax. We can afford it out of sales tax. That means anybody from Marion, Menlo, or whatever that's going to Dollar General, Shopping Center, Bob's, or wherever, spending dollars in the city of Freeman, South Dakota, is helping to pay for Main Street. It's the fairest way.
Because the other options are raising taxes
Right.
Or an
We-
opt-out.
we
or a
talked about
surcharge.
that.
And you talked about that. And this is the fairest way. I agree with you.
I mean, it's up to you guys if you want to take the risk. That's what it is, it's a risk, you're playing a game. Do you want to take the risk, or do you want to have something in your back pocket saying, geez, you know, that, granted, it's gonna, if it goes to vote, it's done. Whether it passes in September or not, it's done. That's a fact.
But
And
if
we
you,
start all over.
if you accept it without that contingency and it goes to a vote, like Lonnie said, he has not heard negative comments, so you'd have a good chance of getting the word out so people would approve the bond, and then you would have that money. Again, we would hope it would not go to a vote, but if it did, odds of it are very good at passing, and we'd have that funding. But if we add it as a contingency, first of all, it's unusual, and it's not within the 30-day big law limit. And if anybody petitions it and it has to go to vote, I mean, the whole thing is stopped. The money that we've spent already, the whole thing is stopped, and the prices go way up. And we've heard numerous counselors say it is an important need.
That's all fine and dandy, but you're not the person sitting here saying that the city's gonna spend $4 million, $4.1 million, and look at our last financial statement. You're not the one sitting there saying, we're gonna spend that money, we're gonna write our checks, and are you gonna be mad if your paycheck don't go through? Are you? You will be. I'll be mad I don't get paid to sit on the council no more. That's what we're not, that's what we're looking at, that's what we're facing.
Right.
Okay? So we gotta make that decision on that, not on, I don't think it's gonna be petitioned, to be honest with you. I don't.
You hope.
Well, I hope not, but, I mean, if it does, is somebody, what are they mad about? Look at Main Street.
I know, I'm not.
I mean, what are you mad about? You mad about the bump outs? That's not to be mad.
If anybody petitions it, it's a personal issue.
Yeah, personal issue against
Whatever.
basically the city government. I mean,
Yes.
because we come back next year, it's a $7 million project, if we get bids.
I agree, and that if it does get petitioned, it's a personal issue. But I'm afraid there might be a few people out there that have that,
Do they
that
have
want to do
5%
that.
of that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if there is or not. That part I don't know, but I understand exactly what you're saying and where you're going with it. It's just a scary situation to put yourself into, not knowing the future, so.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying how we're gonna do it, because I don't speak for everybody else. I'm just saying it's not a very easy decision to sit here and make that decision based on city's money.
And if we wait till the election, say it gets petitioned, there's going to be an election, and we go the route that we're just going to do the base bid now, but not the side streets, where's the price on that going to fall? Is that going to have to be rebid, or is that part?
Four plus engineer.
Okay,
You're gonna have
do
to,
some math. What's the deadline for the project?
accepting bids.
No.
What's the deadline for the
Was,
project?
the total
November.
project was sent in September, right?
No.
November.
November sometime.
So Main Street had to be done when?
Well, by the end of August,
It
was
was July,
July,
right?
Right.
What, 2 weeks to $20,000?
it? The middle of August, yeah.
We will pay for a vast majority of this project before a vote happens.
No, I understand that. My point is, where's the rest of that second, the alternate gonna fall? Because is that still included, or is that because it's,
Depends on if we make it a contingent motion. The alternate bid.
yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, if we're gonna do it, why would we leave the alternate out?
No, do it all.
Yeah, no, I
Do it
know
all,
that.
right?
I'm
Do it
just,
all.
Why leave the alternate out?
no. But I was just wondering if that changes in the, because the contractors aren't probably gonna lock the price in on that stuff if that's contingent.
Usually I'm the guy who stands up and says everybody came and said, no, 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 and I haven't had that happen yet, so I'm gonna throw my support behind doing the whole thing and just getting it over with.
Well, that's my feeling, honestly, too.
Mike, do you want to, your motion as a contingent on the municipal bonding, you want that to, are you still in favor of that?
Well, somebody can make a motion to amend the motion to take that out.
If that's, I don't, well, then, I guess,
I'll make a motion to amend the motion to take out the part of the contingency of the bond.
Of the bond.
on the bonding,
For the contract.
okay,
For the contract,
not on the DOT.
yes, just for the bond.
There's a second?
Second,
Schoenwald,
Yes.
Jaden,
Yes.
Waltner,
yes.
Gearing,
Yes.
Jacobson.
Yes.
And then I need a motion on the amended motion, I believe.
Okay.
Is that right?
You just need to vote on the,
Yeah, you don't vote on the
I
original.
need to.
unless you want more discussion, but
No, you don't need to vote on the original motion. This amended the original motion.
That's all I need?
You shouldn't have to vote on them.
You said I need a motion on the amended motion.
I think you just had a motion to amend the motion, that passed. Now you
Now we
have to
have to vote on the motion.
On the amended motion.
Yeah, I'd agree. That would
Oh,
make
line.
sense to me.
I don't know, I'm trying to figure out this next.
And you moved to accept the amended motion.
We did it already.
Yeah, so I just called roll.
So the amended motion right now is to accept the bid, subject just to the DOT
No,
contingency.
Yeah.
So that's what you're gonna vote on.
So
Thank
it's
you.
the bid and the bid alternate, correct?
And the bid alternate,
4.76.
The whole,
Yeah.
the whole kit and caboodle.
The only thing that changes is that the bond resolution's out.
the bond contingency is out,
Yeah.
right?
got that?
The last 7, 8 words from the
Yeah.
word and contingent on,
Yep. just
Bond
let the
resolution
transportation
becoming-
Scratch the rest.
gotcha. Okay,
We have a motion and a second on that?
yeah, it's ready to call roll. Schoenwald,
Yes.
Jaden,
Yes.
Waltner,
Yes.
Gearing,
Yes.
Jacobson.
Yes.
Okay, we got that done, right? No more discussion on that one? All right, now we gotta go to the engineer fees. We need a motion to, the design phase, an additional $15,000. And the construction phase, in the amount of $385,905. For Sorry Associates Engineering Solutions.
Contingent upon?
Contingent upon the checks not bouncing.
Second,
Is that Charlie?
yes.
Walman.
Jaden,
Yes.
Waltner,
Yes.
Gearing,
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Schoenwald.
Yes.
So moved. It's done. Thank you, Paul. Good.
I'm gonna excuse myself,
Brian, I mean,
folks.
See you, Mike.
Thanks, Mike.
Contractor.
Just want me to stick around.
no, I don't think so.
Okay, free?
No, I think I hit the two things with you. Yeah, those
People
were,
that we're considering. In fact, they're actually looking for some cheaper lights as an option as well. So you could either eliminate it completely or you could provide a cheaper option. So-
Thanks, Brian.
Thanks, Brian.
You're welcome. There's a lot of weight there, guy.
rural development, ambulance grant. Didn't we go through this already, Carol? I thought we already-
No, not officially. We had approval in fall to submit an application. We submitted it October 15th to Rural Development for a new ambulance. What we were told is they were hoping to get $55,000 for us. It's part of a COVID grant, so there was about $2,000 worth of COVID materials, but it was for a new ambulance because our ambulance service is planning to replace one of those ambulances now in the next upcoming months. So we got quotes for the ambulance with Liquid Springs suspension and a Stryker power lift. And the whole package was about $189,000 based on the numbers we had in fall. And we keep hearing from Rural Development, and unfortunately, they are using, the feds insisted on using 2020 census data from townships rather than the city of Freeman, which has about a 78% accurate error rate or whatever. They were able to approve for us $28,000 rather than about half of the price. So that leaves, based on fall numbers, about $161,000. Again, the ambulance department was planning or hoping, to purchase an ambulance in the near future. It would have to be bid out, and obviously, we're finding all costs are a bit higher, but what they would like to know, they are awarding $28,000 regardless of any price increases. It's $28,000 that we can get, and we would need to bid out that ambulance now in the next few months and complete the purchase within 3 years. Odds are, we'd be waiting 18 months or whatever to get it. And as far as what you pay up front would depend on the vendor. So we just need to know if the city of Freeman is going to accept the $28,000 toward the purchase of a new ambulance, or if we are choosing to pass on that. So if we accept it, we'd want a motion that the mayor could sign a letter stating
That
that.
we need to accept it, but we don't have to move on it for 3 years, am I correct?
That's my question.
I asked about that, and the understanding would be that we would move forward with the bid process now in the next few months, and the understanding that the purchase would be completed within 3 years. So as far as how much you need to pay your vendor up front will depend, on the vendor.
Here's my
bids.
recommendation, is that the ambulance, is it Josh Anderson?
Right, and I've been in communication with
Right.
Josh and with
That's
Matt
it.
Rigo is the
What I'm
captain.
saying is have the ambulance group come in here and talk to us about their needs and so forth.
They were both unavailable tonight
That's
because
fine.
they had to work.
Next meeting.
How soon do we have to have,
It was like,
We have plenty of time.
we have time to accept?
We have time.
Okay.
they wanted it by tonight. I mean, they let us know at the next meeting, okay?
It's not, I
How
mean, I
long do we
want
have
the,
to accept the bid? To
the
accept
grant.
the grant?
She called about a week ago and wanted to know when our next meeting was, and as soon as we changed the date, I let her know it wasn't last night, it's tonight.
But when is the
So
deadline?
they have to, they want to.
She expected to know tonight.
What is the deadline?
I was told tonight. We can call, I do have her
we're
cell.
not, I mean, I understand the $28,000, and that's very great.
And I know, we
That's-
have Main Street, I realize.
I'm not even looking at $28,000. I'm not committing $170,000 at this point on anything.
Okay, so we'll,
And, we're interested in the grant and so forth. We haven't heard from the ambulance. I don't know what their needs are.
I was,
If,
they've had
I
budget.
understand.
Okay,
I
sure,
understand, Carol.
sure.
I want the ambulance crew in here, and I want to hear what they have to say. If, I can't see, because what we're doing is if you accept the 28, you're committing 150,000 more dollars.
Exactly,
And I
right,
don't-
and that's
Maybe
why.
they don't need an ambulance, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, they were planning
I want to
for
hear
it.
from them, not from
Sorry.
my, I want to hear from, so that's what I want to hear from. So if it was that important, they'd have been here, I think.
Well,
We changed our meeting, kind of.
What I'd like
That's
to know
fine.
is if there are any bids out there for a comparably equipped ambulance that we could buy off of, or at least, at the very least, use for a comparison with. Because if this is an ongoing thing, if this is a big program that everybody's doing, there's gotta be some bids out there, and there's gotta be some other people who have taken this step already, so that we know how much money we're actually truly looking at.
I mean, I can't see, I mean, if it's tonight, then I'll apologize, personally apologize to the ambulance. I mean, I'm not,
Okay.
I don't have a vote here, but I just, at this juncture,
Okay.
where this body is sitting, I mean,
Truly, I understand, and again, yeah.
it's so important that they couldn't show up, and I'm not faulting, I understand, we changed the meeting and so forth, it's, those things happen.
Well, it took us over a year to get the last ambulance.
Yeah.
We started this on, and the process just even for the grant on October 15.
Well, I'm talking our
So-
last new ambulance.
Right.
We did, I
If
mean,
the-
that was no supply chain issues whatsoever, it took a year and a half.
Right.
Right.
Be interesting to see what's gonna cost, 189,000 last fall, right, what you said.
Right, that include, the ambulance itself was like 159.10 for the liquid spring suspension, 25 for the power load, and like 2,000 for,
I would, if they need a motion to, you know, tell whoever this is, rural development or whatever this is, whether we were interested in the grant or that we'd like the grant, but if that hooks us up where we're committed to spend some more,
I
then
I concur 100%.
Yeah, because if it's gonna go up 15% like everything else has gone up since that time of last year, your $28,000 just got spent.
well, I realize that. And again, I did communicated with both Josh and Matt quite a bit, and yeah, relayed the information to finance officers and mayor.
They have
But,
$420,000 in their account.
right, they budgeted,
But they won't,
Well, I know they won't,
Right.
but I'm just saying,
even if they did, they won't.
so.
okay.
But if you guys want, I mean, whatever you want, but I just,
if we can buy time on this grant, if she can ask her,
I
she can
will-
wait until the next meeting, great, and we can talk
yeah.
and stuff, but if not,
I will
then I don't.
text that right now. I mean, she
Okay.
said we could call during the meeting as well.
See if they pitch
What?
in, Avera, if they pitch any money. They
Um,
have ambulances, so they can help us. I know they
Doesn't
got
work
paper
exactly like that right now this evening. Again, I've,
No, I know, I'm just
invested a lot of
asking.
time, and they said they wanted to buy one, so 28,000 was better than 0,000. But, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Carol.
Golf course personnel, seasonal help, both, I will just run this, go golf course and the clubhouse, the applications that you got printed out so nicely.
Yeah.
Josh Anderson, Todd Graber, Kenny Harn, Ted Petey Jr., Kevin Sanders, John Weir, Neil Zachariason, that's groundskeeping crew. Clubhouse would be Eva Amon, Emery Edwards, Jane Hermson, Rory Hermson, Taylor Hermson. This is all seasonal help. There's a lot, the greenskeeper, there's just gonna be a lot of part-time,
What was the rate per hour?
pardon?
What's the rate per hour?
$12.
Okay. I make that
That's-
motion.
That was clubhouse and greenskeeper.
Make that motion.
With the exception of Kenny Har, we gave him $1 raise.
Because we use them elsewhere too.
I'm sorry?
We use them elsewhere too.
Yes, because we,
That's right. Working streets and sewers.
so the motion was that you, at $12 an hour, with the exception of Kenny Har, was at $13 an hour.
Second.
Gearing,
Cody, was that, I'm sorry, go ahead, Colin.
Yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Schoenwald,
Yes.
Jaden,
Yes.
Waltner.
Yes.
Jim, you want to add to that?
Is that, did I leave anybody out, Cody?
First
That's the
time.
first time I've heard of any of the names, so,
Yes.
not that I can think of.
About the same as last year, ain't it?
No,
No, there's a
there's,
few more in there.
Yeah, there's more on there than last year.
Yeah, but that means you guys can stay on streets and sewers more.
Correct.
Was that the list Lisa gave you
Well, it's-
today?
yeah,
I mean, if they got more help, it should be.
Should be less of their time out there.
there's,
I'm not saying there's gonna be zero time out there.
No, but
it's
less, I agree.
yeah.
Or at least I
The thing the Shane Fish audit, Doug?
Yeah, they just,
You know about that then?
they just sent their letter to get council's approval to do the annual audit. They were looking at, no, it was before that, May 9th, the week of May 9th. There, says their cost will not exceed $9,250.
I'm wishing to hire Shane Fish for our annual audit at May 9th for no more than $9,000.
$1,000 more.
Not a penny more.
It's $1,000 more than last year.
Well, yeah, it's,
That's why,
Hiring somebody else.
second.
oh, yes.
Jacobson,
Yes.
Schoenwald,
Yes.
Jaden,
Yes.
Waltner,
Yes.
Gearing.
Yes.
I see police equipment, Blaine's not here, Mr. Brewer, Chief Brewer.
It's okay.
Slingshots?
Yes.
Perfect. Razors?
I just want to make sure. Semi-prepared.
You want one?
Yeah, I got it. I'll go deeper into it.
This is a few things. The first one is the safe and secure cameras for Main Street. Feel like a little one after the big discussion we just had, but, so on the safe and secure, it gives a layout, a map of where the cameras would be set at. I'm actually talking to Joe, we have a meeting on Monday, where we're gonna put these cameras, and we wanna make sure that these cameras are not networked into private business, to where it'd be wireless. This will be on a Homeland Security grant, I'm trying for that, so hopefully, it might, if it happens this year, it happens this year, if not, it'll happen next year, with your guys' approval. But the cameras would be 5th and Main. What was the other one? Firehouse to cover North County Road in Maine, in front of the lumber yard where it covers Henry and Maine, and then the sign in front of the Cherry Street storage unit that belongs to the FCD. I talked to Jeff today, and he has no problem putting a camera up on that sign to cover 6th Street.
Where are you gonna put your,
What's that?
where are you gonna put your pointer?
That's why we're having a meeting on Monday. I'm not too technologically savvy, that's why I went to Charlie and Joe, so. But he said he's gonna do the routers, the alternate between cameras? The only hardwired one would be the fire station, because the city owns
Is this
that.
gonna be a mesh system, or you expecting everything to go back to one hotspot?
I expect it to go back to one hotspot.
To one point to point.
That's what I'm expecting. But I haven't talked to Joe. I'll find out more from him.
We'll find more about that on our meeting next week. I just wanted to put it out there to let you guys know, let you guys look at it.
It's more, I think the question more is, do you have a problem putting cameras there?
no.
I think it's a good
I
thing.
don't have a problem, just.
No, I understand, you're the IT guy here.
Curious, sorry.
How it's gonna work, no, that's
But
fine.
I know that the city has internet at the city shop, and they have internet here,
In the fire.
and at the fire hall.
Yeah.
But if you put it anywhere else, you know, if you're gonna have this point to point, this hot spot, that's why I was asking to put a bug in your guys' ear, if these are, if this is gonna be a meshing system, which means that it will go from camera to camera instead of back to one hot spot. Or are you gonna have the one hot spot, and then is that gonna be strong enough to reach the ones clear out to Casey's?
That's-
Well, and that's the thing, so if we don't do Casey's, which, I mean, that's up to you guys if you want to take it out to 6th Street and 81 to cover the east and west part of that. I mean, we already have a camera on
Even if
Cherry
you-
Street.
Even if
but-
you don't do it there.
Yeah.
You're still looking, you need
Pretty
to
good.
dedicate a point, a central point, if it's not gonna be a meshing system.
I have
A meshing system, for anybody who doesn't know, is a system that goes from spot to spot. You know,
relays.
it relays, like a relay.
Right,
type thing, Okay?
like a repeater.
Yep.
Okay.
And that way, each camera doesn't have to go back to the one spot, they just relay to each other, sending this information all the way back to the one neutral spot.
So if something happens there and it gets hooked up at
Now,
fire
it's just
station,
data, we're just talking data being transferred, is all.
No, you're talking Greek.
Well, but I'm just, and I'm gonna guess this is gonna take quite a bit of bandwidth to do so with them being 4K cameras.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, so the ones on Main Street will be LPR readers. Just due to a lot of the burglars we've had, you know, it shows up a lot clearer for the license plate readers and the images for the people, or the suspects.
Could talk to fellow land, KSFY and KDLT and tell them to put their cameras up to monitor our Main Street, they can use them on their newscasts.
Yes.
Oh,
That would be a great idea.
There you go.
But, so, I mean, like I said, it's gonna be a Homeland Security grant if we can go through this.
And I think the general consensus is here to move forward with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm definitely in favor of moving forward with it.
Definitely.
Charlie, Tab, Lonnie, other.
And I've had two quotes. This is the cheapest one that's come in, the lowest ones came in. It's about $40,000 cheaper than the other one.
But we'll get some more details after
Yep.
talking to them.
Right.
So, okay,
Okay.
see how it.
My next one is, let's see which one I want to go through. Okay, so the one for the April 4th one, the City of Freeman letter, April 4th. So it's for 2 LiDAR units. It doesn't have to be 2, it could be 1. LiDAR is a light detection and ranging system. It's pretty much a laser gun. It's a laser, it's a vehicle specific for speed enforcement, especially on 81. I'm looking at a grant, which it costs no money to the city. Which, figured out.
Those are our favorite grants.
Yeah, yes.
What's the training on that?
You just gotta go through a radar training course. It's a 4-hour
This is
course.
going to the vehicles.
Yes.
Con Ed, I suppose.
Is it a hand?
Yep, it's handheld.
So it could
It's
go in
a-
either vehicle.
Right, it's a Pro Laser 4. You can stand outside your vehicle and shoot laser down. It goes to about 8,000 feet. So I can mean,
About a
Is the
mile and a
read
half.
cars going away?
it does. It also reads following too close to
I
you.
know there's some that don't read away traffic, correct?
Correct.
Just wanna make
This is like the troopers have, isn't it?
Yep. It's very accurate.
I have no problem you going for that one either. If you get it, doesn't cost us anything.
That's a good thing. So,
Yeah, you can sit down by the storage sheds and run radar on 81.
yeah. 6th Street, 81, North and South County Road.
Charlie Gang's house?
8,000 feet, man.
Yeah, come from the other Main Street.
So,
Really gonna take all the fun out of it.
so my next one is the purchase of 2 AR rifles. It doesn't have to be this year, it could be next year. I just want to put it out there. If you guys want to read through this, that's fine. It gives some situations where the police were not properly equipped and got into a shootout with an AR. All he had was his duty weapon, and actually it was our part-time guy, Dylan Hillstead. When he worked with McCook County, stopped a guy come out with an M4, loaded all 30-round magazine into his car. All he had was a sidearm. Once the 30-round magazine was over, the guy come out with a shotgun, put all rounds into the driver's window. Lucky Dylan wasn't in there. But he had to wait for backup from, I think it was Lincoln County, who came up with an AR-15. We've had multiple shootings around Freeman. It's not going to be when it happens, it's going to be if it happens. Or when it happens, not if it happens. We had the Scotland shooting. We just had 2 weekends ago, I believe, we had a drive-by shooting on 37 round trip. Almost killed a 12-year-old kid. Bullet ended up in the beat pillar of the vehicle, so she was caught. They also had a barricaded.
Why did they do that? I never did hear that.
She's
drugged up or
Yep,
something?
yep. Come and see her, leaving, I guess the prison where her boyfriend was at, and she was drugged up, thinking the car was found her, and the car was going south, she was going north. She put the gun out the window, fired around through the window. So, it's getting closer, Freeman, and I don't want to be in the position where we are not prepared for what happens. We got 2 schools.
You can borrow mine if you have to.
You got any good ones?
Yes.
Okay. So, I mean, it doesn't have to be this year. I got, there's a couple quotes. There's one, I can get 2 AR-15s for $700.
Each or together?
Together,
That's cheap.
yes. It's through Bear Creek Arsenal. I checked with Smith & Wesson. They were $1,200 for 2. So, like I said, it doesn't have to be this year. It could be next year. I just wanted to put it in your guys'
Do you
ear.
have an equipment budget? Don't blow it all in the pickup.
No.
What's the status of that thing?
So I talked to Joey, he said it's about 5 months out, which brings up my next question. So I do have a outfitters, it's from Carl's Emergency Vehicles. He's gonna actually send us all the equipment that it's a $5,000 equipment order. He said it's going to take about 4 months to get in, so I just need to know if it's approval to sign it and send it off to him so I can at least have it. So when the truck comes in, I can send it over to,
We need it for the truck, right?
yep,
Yeah.
Well, then there's no question.
This is all stuff off Brad's recommendation.
yeah, yep.
And there's no question, get it coming, because otherwise we're gonna be behind.
Okay. Just wanted to ask, see if it was okay.
The way the supply is, we better get it going.
Don't anybody be like the sheriff's department, have a brand new sedan sitting there for 4 months because it can't get it done.
That's bad.
I wonder if I use the supply and demand of my money is short, so I can pay my bills. Would that be okay for them too?
I don't know, call it 1600 West Pennsylvania.
See
See if you actually get an answer.
See if they can solve my shortage problem, my supply chain problem.
They'll give you the Ukrainian number.
I do have a quote for the crosswalk signs. They're actually coming out of Fargo. I think you gave me the number for that.
Is this for
Signs.
Yeah, there's it's 2 for 6th Street and then 4 for College. There'll be the ones, he's sending me a quote, it's gonna be a stop for pedestrian crosswalk. It's where you gotta push a button, the light starts flashing. So it allows the,
You gotta make it like flash, or it's on time as flashes.
I don't,
I believe they're solar powered.
yeah.
Right, but I mean, when the kids go up there, they gotta push the button to get it to
Correct,
flash?
yeah, so it doesn't flash all the time to drain down the battery on it.
I didn't know if it's on a timer where you set it for like,
Or can it
8
have
o'clock
both?
or whatever.
Yeah.
It could possibly have both, I don't know a ton about them, but
Well, if
most
kids
of
are
them
smart
are
enough to
just
push the
off a
button, that's
button.
fine.
Cool. That's all I have.
All right?
Thank you, Scott.
Thank you.
Carol, did you
I-
find something out?
Yes, I got a call back from Rural Development, and she said the state is very, very eager to decide what money is going to get allocated here. And she said, yes, they could wait till the 19th. And they really want to see this money going to us or someone here in South Dakota, otherwise it will go to people in another state. So she is going to call and give me more information yet too between now and then. But with our next meeting, right, the 19th, they will wait till then, and if
Good.
our captains can't be here, we'll at least get a letter or something.
in writing.
Exactly, yeah, okay, thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Mr. Jaden, do you have anything else?
No, do you wanna tell them about the water leak?
We got a water leak out behind industrial park, behind Tyson's. We're gonna fix Friday. One of the service lines that goes over Keith and Woods. Been leaking for quite a while. And we're gonna put in 2 8-inch valves sometime in a couple of weeks here to help for the Main Street project.
Mr. Gehring? Tabitha? Doug, you have something else?
Yeah, the annual report is done, so we got that, not the official copy, but the preliminary, it was all good, so that will be coming out officially to you as soon as we reply to it, so.
Mr. Waltner?
Nothing right now.
Mr. Jacobson? Cody, everybody's good. Casey's has applied for an off-sale liquor permit, so we are going to be advertising or putting it in the paper and so forth and setting a meeting, but FYI, they've applied for, we'll set the meeting date and so forth, but just so you know. I think that's, next meeting will be Tuesday, April 19th, 6:30. Be there, be square. We need to go into exec very shortly, for very short time.
For what? For
Personnel, for
Personnel.
me.
the move to go into executive session, personnel.
Second.
Thank you.
We gotta get us a permit later.
Aye.
Hey, I wanna,
We got skunks.
I can't remember
I wanna talk to you too.
when we got there, before you get that straight.
I want your old house, man. In that ditch, you're gonna do.
I know that we don't know because of the supply
I wanna
issues,
know the size.
but
12 inch. Galvanized.
when's this Main Street thing gonna get rolled out?
We might have.
When? I don't know.